The entire world is watching as the Kyle Rittenhouse jury deliberates for a second day. And everyone wants to know, can you read into the length of jury deliberations to predict what the verdict's going to be? First, understand that this is a complex case. The jury charge is 36 pages long. The jury charge is the set of instructions that is given to the jury that explains the law to the jury, and the jury then has to apply that law to the facts. The jury charge is 36 pages long for a number of reasons. First of all, there are 5 counts. These are 5 felony offenses that the prosecutor has charged. The judge has thrown out the misdemeanor charges. For many of the felony charges, though, there are also lesser included charges. So if jurors believe that Rittenhouse is guilty of a lesser charge included within one of the 5 charge counts, they can come back on a lesser included charge. So potentially they're deliberating about not just the top level offenses, but also whether or not a lesser included charge might be more appropriate. Additionally, they're charged with the instruction of self-defense. So whether or not Rittenhouse was acting in self-defense and whether or not what he did in defending himself was reasonable. So those are some difficult questions that the jury is going to have to face. You know they're difficult because all the questions from the jury to the court have revolved around the jury charge. So we got questions about specific portions of the jury charge, and then ultimately the jurors asked for individual copies of the jury charge, so presumably they could all follow along and talk about the law that applied or applies to each of these offenses. So the jury is doing exactly what they're supposed to do. In regards to predicting the result of a trial based on the length of jury deliberation, it's really gone both ways. The John Wally Price case in Dallas went 8 days before John Wally Price was acquitted on all charges. A couple of years ago, there was a murder case out in California where the jury deliberated for 7 days and then found the defendant guilty. So you can have very long jury deliberations and come to either verdict. The other possibility is the jury cannot agree on what the outcome should be. So in a criminal case, you have 12 jurors, and all 12 have to decide to find a person guilty or to acquit a person. The other possibility, and a distinct possibility, at least in some of these counts, is that the jury cannot agree. So when a jury sends out a note that says, hey, we're having difficulty, it looks like there's a split, and perhaps we're not going to be able to reach a unanimous verdict, the judge will send in what's called an Allen charge or a dynamite charge. The Allen charge is meant to help the jurors reach a verdict if they can. So the instruction will say, no future juror is going to hear, presumably, any other information. You're in the best possible position to render a verdict on these facts based on the law that I've given you. Please continue to deliberate and see if you can reach a verdict. But the judge will also say, don't do anything that will violate your conscience. In other words, don't do something just for the sake of reaching a verdict that you're going to lose sleep over tomorrow or a year from now, because these are criminal verdicts and the implications are extremely serious. On the top count for Rittenhouse, if he's found guilty, he's potentially facing a life sentence. So these are as serious of matters as one could potentially be making a decision on. And the judge's instruction is going to say, try to reach a verdict. But if you can't, don't harm your conscience. Don't scar your conscience by just coming to a verdict for the sake of getting to a verdict. So that's a third possibility that the Rittenhouse jury is going to face in the potential outcomes we'll see today or in the days coming.